What is going there? We back at it again with another video, man. Beyond Dragon Ball Super. Yeah, I was saying Merno's Revenge. You know, we're officially in October. 11 days away. Sparking Zero. Low-key, 7 from some of us. You know what I'm saying? Because my shit said I could play the game at Monday at 5 p.m. So, yeah, boy. Fireball on Twitch, man. You know what I'm saying? Cause I'm streaming that shit. But anyway, Grand Prix pulled up last video. You know what I'm saying? With both the Omni Kings type shit. So everybody fighting for their life. Vegito is doing the damn Spirit Bomb. That's kind of crazy, low key. I ain't going crazy. A multiversal Spirit Bomb. That's kind of crazy. That's OD. And low key, we need that. You know, cause what we got the regular Spirit Bomb. You know what I'm saying? In Z. For Frieza and Boo, you know what I'm saying? We had the Universal Spirit Bomb in GT, which was cool. You know, oh my God, but I don't know that bitch gonna work though, to be honest with you. The Spirit Bomb worked what, twice? And that was the one in Z and one in GT. I mean, the track record for that damn technique not a good ratio. That bitch in the negative. Anyway, hit the video up with a like, man. Comment down below and subscribe. Bro, 3K, so you're not subscribed. Subscribe. Again, Fireball on Patreon, Twitch, and the game channels. Click the description down below. Subscribe to Alex. Get real to 2 million subscribers. W ratio. Let's dive on in. I cannot wait to see his daddy son his ass. We got 60 seconds. And about to be the longest 60 seconds of their life, man.
As our story continues with Merno seemingly enough getting ready and attacking the Grand Priest and the Omni Kings, as out of nowhere before Merno could carry out his axe, Beerus went on to grab onto Merno's hand by telling him, "Not so fast, Angel. Some of us aren't finished with you just yet. You may be more powerful than us, but our resolve will never be shattered. I'm sure if you weren't able to see this before, then surely now you can. This is my universe, Beerus
Tell him
says,
again, man.
and I won't let you do anything to destroy it. You are a joke to me, feeble destroyer," Merno says. "Your resolve means nothing to me. Your numbers mean nothing to me. Your power means nothing to me. You are no longer on my radar," he adds. "Stand aside and wait your turn." What the heck? He's gone, Beerus says. As with Merno shown having to speed blitz right past Beerus, nothing mean none that nigga, bro. Just about to do, Merno then went on to turn his attention back at the Grand Priest and the Omni Kings by responding, "The only ones who matter are the ones who sit and protect the throne. The root of all hypocrisy and lies," he adds. And as Merno had then proceeded
60 seconds, bro. You can't just stand still for 60 seconds.
Regarding
Crazy.
the small amount of time that the Grand Priest had needed to fight, Merno then went on to continue, "Your
you don't want that
rules
smoke.
mean nothing to me. Maybe this will get you to break them and face me, you cowards. This is what I think of your pathetic and delusional laws held in place." But before Merno's blast could actually reach the Grand Priest and the Omni Kings, out of nowhere, Golden Majin Buu ended up teleporting right in front of them as Golden Buu went on to shout, "I don't think so. Now let's see if this works. It's been a very long time."
I hope it works.
So what Golden Majin Buu ends up doing is Golden Majin Buu ends up extending his mouth open and literally then being shown having to swallow each and every single one of Merno's blasts, as Merno went on to look up by asking, "What does that mortal think he's doing? Oh, I see. A redirection counter. You creatures are all so predictable." As with Golden Majin Buu nearly shown having to explode from within, he only then quickly took it upon himself in firing all of Merno's attacks back at him, to where Merno was not impressed in the slightest, as Merno was shown having to deflect each and every single one of them by responding, "Using my own attacks against me won't help you, fools. I am invincible. No damage can destroy me, even if you are somehow able to use my attacks against me." To where out of nowhere, one of Merno's blasts, which was seen having to be deflected by him, was then ultimately shown making its way towards Vegito, who was holding the Spirit Bomb, as Vegito went on to shout, "Damn, we can't let that blast hit us," which fortunately enough for Vegito, he was actually able to teleport out of the way fast enough in avoiding Merno's blast completely, as Vegito then went on to look on up and responding, "Whew, that was close. We're still in the game. If that blast had connected, the entire Spirit Bomb would have been a gigantic waste. I don't think it'll be enough though," he adds. "We still need more. There's got to be another way."
And he just took off.
Shown infuriated by the
idea he just took off 2 more universes, bro. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be less potent than what it could have been.
to get in his way, and angry Merno then took it upon himself in having to power up then by responding, "I've had it with you worms and your constant interference. You will not deny me of my destiny. Since you wanted my attention this badly, now you..." But then, all of a sudden, Merno stops as he went on to look on up and noticing something as Merno went on to comment, "Wait a second, that surge of energy just now, could it really be? That had to have come from him. I just know it did. He seems more determined now than he was a minute ago. Yes, that confirms it then," Merno says. "He's ready." And with the Grand Priest then being shown having to stand there with every grain of sand now having to fall at the very bottom, it really now appears as though the time has finally come.
It's time for Papa to step in.
By telling him, "Never in my life would I ever have dreamed for a day like this to come. For a father's hand to be forced in fighting and destroying his son for the abominable acts that he has committed. I tried speaking sense into you," the Grand Priest says. "I tried giving you a chance to see
talking
the
to Jutsu wasn't gonna work, fam.
Not only onto others, but onto
you
yourself
knock off his siblings,
as well.
fam. That shit was dead in the water.
Mass genocide end here with me, Merno. Time's up," the Grand Priest says. And as both of the Omni Kings are then shown having to be visibly very excited as they cannot wait to see what's about to unfold, the Omni Kings then went on to comment, "Hey, look, he did it! The Grand Minister did it! He completed our challenge! Look there, time's up! Time's up, time's up," says the second Omni King. "Do you feel that? The Grand Priest looks really scary. Do you feel his power? Oh, this is so exciting." Well,
I know.
You got what you were asking for, Merno says. "Does that mean that you are no longer going to be chained like an animal and face the consequences that you have coming? Because I'm ready to shred you and be done with this." As even Mastered Ultra Instinct Vegito went on to sense this, with Vegito
his pipe dream,
to collect more energy for the Spirit Bomb, he then went on to respond, "Whoa, that energy, that means time's up. We did it. We were able to help the Grand Priest with the time he needed." So that just then means, as with Merno shown having to point up at the Grand Priest, he then went on to tell him, "I want you to know that this is going to be the last battle that you will ever live to see. Everything will be used against you. Let this be the final chapter in the story of your deception.
I didn't see him backing down,
on the
bro.
line here, you snake. If you fail, then you
just
can
don't
kiss
see it.
the very essence of all reality and existence goodbye." As it was during this moment where all hell was about to break loose, Whis went on to inform everyone by shouting, "Everyone brace yourselves! The Grand Minister's restrictions has been lifted." As with Merno then shown having to power up with tremendous amounts of force, he then went on to shout, "I've waited eons for this day. Today will be the day where you finally meet your end.
Put my hands up, little
Come
nigga.
and stop me if you truly think you can." And it was only right then and there where the Grand Priest had then finally
that
taken
nigga on
initiative
go.
and then being shown making the first move, and then being shown having to
put
move
my hands
towards
up,
Merno
nigga.
with such tremendous amounts of speed. The present Omni King then went on to shout, "Oh wow, 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 wow! Did you just see how fast the Grand Priest moved?" And with the Grand Priest then shown having to strike Merno, with Merno shown having to defend himself, the Grand Priest went on to tell Merno, "You wanted me? Well, here I am, child." With the Grand Priest being shown having to strike Merno with such tremendous amounts of force that not only was the Grand Priest able to hit Merno hard enough in taking him off the planet, but the Grand Priest from there was then seemingly enough having to drive Merno through several different planets, as even Vegito went on to comment, "Whoa, did you guys just see that? We were barely able to keep our eyes on them. Look, he's driving Merno deep into outer space
Hey, y'all,
with ease.
go get the
It's much more
nachos
than
and
that,
shit, bro,
Beerus
the drinks,
chimes in.
bro.
Look
Let's watch this fight."
closely. He's smashing him through every planet along the way. "In all my years," Beerus adds, "I've often heard about the Grand Priest's power, but to see it up close like this is beyond words." As indeed this happened to be the case with the Grand Priest shown driving Merno through every single planet along the way. From that point on, with everyone having to observe, Kefla went on to ask, "Yeah, but can he do it? Is the Grand Priest strong enough to destroy him this time?"
I say
no doubt
yes.
about it, Gohan says. He has to be. Unless Merno can be seen matching him, I think this is it, you guys. I think Merno just might be done for. As through the other side of one of the planets,
right in the sternum.
shown having to push Merno on through, he then went on to tell him, "You were able to bully your way around by tossing your weight at those who are unable to fully compete with you in battle. Does it hurt to know that feeling when it's now being being thrown back at you, Merno. As with Merno then shown having to attempt to strike the Grand Priest, he then went on to respond, "Shut your mouth, you snake. You left me for dead, your own angel, the best of the best, thrown away in favor of tyrannical children."
Say, bro,
Enough,
you was on that bullshit, man.
As he then followed up by kicking Merno in the stomach, he then went on to tell him, "Your hatred and lust for revenge and power has not only deteriorated your mind, but it has spiraled so far out of control that you are beyond reasoning, and I cannot allow you to have things go your way." As the sheer force and impact of the Grand Priest kick was so intense that Merno's body had went crashing through several different planets before having to stabilize himself in space by responding, "Why?
Goodbye, planets.
You? Maybe you've forgotten who you're dealing with here.
Full
Let's
court
not forget
pressing that
I
nigga,
was
bro.
the only one among our race to ever stand up to you in battle, and it's for a very good reason," Merno adds, as with Merno shown having to duck on under in avoiding the Grand Priest punch. In being able to respond as quickly as it happened, Merno then went on to continue, "It's for the same reason why you feared my potential, because you knew once you saw it with your very own eyes that if I was allowed to remain where I was, then I would have ultimately have taken your place and
got a
surpassed
hit
you
in.
completely," he says. As within that moment, Merno had then quickly followed up
Okay.
by having to then be shown uppercutting the Grand Priest in the stomach with such
Right in the
tremendous
sternum.
amounts of
He
power
got
that
a hit
literally
in,
all
bro.
the planets
Okay.
behind the Grand Priest were then shown having to be vaporized, which not only displayed the sheer amount of power that both of these individuals were displaying, but in the middle of having to then uppercut the Grand Priest, Merno then went on to continue, "You were scared, you were jealous, weren't you? Because you knew that I would become a much better Grand Priest than you. This is on your head," Merno adds. "You taught me everything there is to know, and because you did, I am now going to use it all to kill you." As with Merno then quickly following up by them being punching
You
the
good,
Grand Priest
fam?
in the face, which thus resulted in the Grand Priest also being shown having to crash through several different planets with both Whis and Vados observing. Even the angels themselves could not seem to believe this, as Whis went on to respond, "Vados, are you seeing this? He struck him," Vados adds. "Give him time. I don't think the Grand Priest is finished," she adds. "We must keep our eyes on them," Whis adds. "Something tells me that Father has a plan, but what could it be?" he asks. "I do not doubt his ability in this battle, but we must not lose track of them." As with the Grand Priest then being shown having to land back on the planet in which everyone else was on, and thus being shown stabilizing himself and wiping his face, the Grand Priest then went on to ask, "Surely that wasn't the best that you can do, was it? I would never underestimate your skill in battle, but it'll take more than one lucky strike to destroy me." And this itself really went on to piss Merno off, as Merno was shown having to close on in, and once again looking to make waste of destroying his father, Merno went on to shout, "You've got some nerve." As with Merno then shown having to strike the Grand Priest, with the Grand Priest being shown having to grab onto Merno's punch, there is a massive shockwave generated from the sheer force of this strike that everyone else alongside of the Omni Kings are beginning to feel this, as the Omni Kings went on to respond, "Hey, look, the entire planet is shaking." "No,
that bitch might blow up.
The universe is shaking," says the second Omni King. "This is a really scary fight," as even Jiren went on to respond, "What impact? Everything around us is violently shaking." "Ah, come on," Vegito says. "Hold it. Darn, all of this shaking is throwing me off," Vegito says. "We can't..."
Bro, what the fuck is the Spirit Bomb going to do against this nigga? I don't see it. Oh, look, he hurt.
lose focus and have this be wasted.
You got some scratches.
Those two don't destroy the entire universe while they battle. Come on, come on. As we then go back to Merno,
that might actually happen, low-key.
And looking very angry, he then went on to respond, "Why, you? I can see it in your eyes," Merno says. "You think I can't win, don't you? You think I don't have what it takes to destroy you, is that
I don't
it?
either, nigga."
"You've lost your ways, child," says the Grand Priest. "You do not have what it takes to win against me, and you never will. Unless there is more to you than meets the eye, this war that you have been waging against the gods is over, and you know it, Merno. Your fate has already been decided." But Merno still attempts to attack the Grand Priest anyway, because with Merno then shown having to attack his father in attempting to punch him, with the Grand Priest being shown having to dodge each and every single one of his strikes, Merno went on to shout, "And just look who's the one getting ahead of themselves now. Enough," the Grand Priest says. "It was as I said, the outcome of this battle along with your fate has already been decided." As with the Grand Priest once again being shown having to punch Merno back, Merno
I don't
had
see it, big
refused to
dog.
go down, as even Vados and Whis went on on to acknowledge this with Vados responding, I can't believe it's Whis. He's driving him back. Merno is losing ground with Whis responding, I see it too. But look closely, Whis adds, Merno is beginning to get flustered. His energy is starting to flare. As with Merno then shown having to visibly be angry, he then went on to respond, so I see that you're just as tough as I remembered you being. Perhaps you haven't gone soft like the rest of those fools after all. And now that I can see that for myself, I now understand what I need to do. All this truly means is that I'm going to have to try just a little harder if I want to get my point across.
Okay.
A worthy opponent indeed, but a dead one at that, with the Grand Priest responding, don't try it, Merno. Extinguish your ambitions for revenge before it's too late. You cannot win. But once again, Merno is not willing to back down, because as soon as Merno had then gone in speed blitzing towards the Grand Priest, in an act of absolute rage, Merno then went on to shout, I'd rather die 1 billion deaths over before I ever lay myself down to you traitors. Now die! As right then and there with Merno shown having to strike the Grand Priest, it was only then all of a sudden, as the sheer fabric of space-time around them was beginning to shatter, Vegeta went on to shout, what the heck is happening? Holy crap, Kefla says, the sky! What's going on? As the fight between the Grand Priest and Merno was now beginning to get so intense that they were both now beginning to shatter through reality itself. As Vados went on to respond, they're tearing through the fabric of reality. They're shattering through dimensions with the sheer force of their attacks. As both the Grand Priest and Merno were then showing having to travel from the present timeline into the future timeline and then back out through another exit, as the Grand Priest was then shown having to regain control in smashing Merno through several different realities. As soon as they had both came crashing through the other side, the Grand Priest went on to tell Merno, you've invoked mass genocide on all those
but low-key, we did not see the Grand Priest power up low.
Unworthy to live. You, an angel whose responsibility was to watch over creation, not destroy it, decided to want to lust after complete control of the throne in order to see your vision through. You have violated your oath as a grand angel and have spat in my face for granting you the life that you were so fortunate to live. As with the Grand Priest then shown punching Merno, he then went on to continue, first you will be punished for the crimes against the gods that you have committed, and then you will be punished for the disruptive chaos you've created through your presence within the existing multiverse. And you truly think it will be that easy, Merno asks? You've acknowledged me before as your successor. And just as you've acknowledged me once before, Merno says, as he then went on to grab the Grand Priest by his arm, he then quickly followed through by having to throw the Grand Priest with such tremendous force by telling him, you will acknowledge me once more as being your superior. That throne will be mine, Merno shouts, as once again, Merno was then shown having to strike the Grand Priest in shattering through reality by telling him, and I will do everything in my power to have it. As with Merno then shown having to
Game of Thrones shit, huh?
He then went on to respond, so I see that you're just as tough as I remembered you being. Perhaps you haven't gone soft like the rest of those fools after all. And now that I can see that for myself, I now understand what I need to do. All this truly means is that I'm going to be opponent.
Oh shit, hold
up. You, an angel, as a grand angel and have spat in my face. Committed.
That was a misedit.
Says as he then went on to grab the Grand Priest by his arm, ignoring Merno and the granola time. Once again, I will do everything in my power to have it. As Merno and the Grand Priest were then once again being shown having to tear through the Dragon Ball Super Broly timeline, the granola timeline, and many others, Beerus went on to put this into question by asking, I can't believe what I'm seeing. They'll destroy the entire multiverse if this keeps going. Whis, what's happening? With Whis responding, as shocking as this may sound, my lord, I can barely keep up with their movements at this point. They are moving at such a pace where it appears as though they are standing still, but they're not. This is exactly why angels are forbidden from fighting, especially angels at their level. This is now beginning to affect all of reality and every timeline. But even then, with Merno shown attempting to punch the Grand Priest with the Grand Priest dodging, the Grand Priest then went on to inform Merno by telling him, I'm very impressed. Despite your absence throughout the generations, you haven't forgotten your training. But I haven't taught you everything. And with the Grand Priest then shown punching Merno in the face, the sheer result of this one punch alone was enough to send Merno crashing through yet another reality. With Merno then making his exit as the Grand Priest followed, he then went on to tell him, you called for this war, child. Your rage is what drove you into now suffering as you've suffered once before. Order will be restored, he says. Let this painful beating be a stark reminder of how badly you've fallen from grace. As with Merno's body once again being shown having to smash through several different planets, Kefla went
Is
on
my
to
nigga
ask,
sweating?
are you guys seeing this? There will be nothing left by the time they're done. I
No,
don't think
dead
Merno
ass.
stands a chance, Android 35 says, but I have a bad feeling about something. As with the Grand Priest being shown having to look out into deep outer space, he then went on to comment, I haven't been forced to engage in this way for many generations. He's every bit as dangerous and mighty as I remembered him being when he was by my side. Is there anything left of the real you in there, the Grand Priest asks? Don't make me do this, as with Merno shown having to still continuously being shown smashing through planets, while at the same time in an eerie way being shown smiling, Merno went on to comment, I can't believe it. Would you look at that? I haven't felt actual pain since you nearly eradicated me eons ago. Well done, Snake. You've proven to be a worthy opponent after all. But if this is all you think that I can do, then you are in for a shocking surprise.
Oh my god.
Please tell me, can he win, Beerus asks? Is the Grand Priest using his full power? Why isn't the fight over? With Whis responding, I honestly cannot tell you, my lord. I sense confliction within the Grand Priest's heart.
He's conflicted.
He truly doesn't want to kill one of his own, he adds. I believe the Grand Minister might be searching...
Nigga conflicted, bro. We already know, bro. Like in Star Wars, bro. Once you conflicted, bro, you weak, bro. You nerf. You severely nerf, bro. Don't be conflicted, bro. You gotta have your resolve, man. My nigga conflicted, bro. Bro, take your son off the senses, bro. This nigga is a demon.
for any redeemable qualities that still may exist within him, and I'm sure that if he doesn't find them, then he will end Merno's life once and for all, unless there is something that we aren't seeing on the surface yet. As with Mastered Ultra Instinct Vegito still being shown having to collect energy for his Spirit Bomb, in an act of desperation in being able to see his plan through, Vegito went on to address everyone by shouting, everyone listen up, we need more power! We've gathered as much as we could from this universe and it won't be enough. Listen to me, if this is all that we can collect from Universe 7, then unless there's another way, I need you all to lend me more of your energy right now. We can't risk it all on just this. It's all or nothing, so please, we need to hurry.
Just putting this.
During that moment,
shit.
where the Beyond Dragon Ball Super story of Merno versus the Multiverse manga
now,
chapter number 31 special then comes to a close. Now this was the moments that everybody was waiting for, and now seeing firsthand how the tables have now been turned on Merno, with not only the Grand Priest having to further demonstrate how powerful he truly is, but the sheer fight between these two is so intense that
they doing some tangs. They doing some tangs. Nah, but hey, if an angel put their power into the Spirit Bomb, holy. Ooh, and God destructions. Oh my god. Oh my god. So yeah, that's a lot of power, big dog. That's a lot of oomph. And he's still doing this shit from Universe 7. So how the fuck did we get this shit from the other universes? I guess we're gonna find out. I guess we're gonna find out.
As our story continues mid-battle, as Merno was shown having to brace himself within space, in further having to prevent himself from flying out any further, in an act of anger, Merno went on to respond, gah, not a chance. I've waited too long and have come too far to lose now. Especially to you, traitorous fiend. One way or another, I will find a way to break you if it's the last thing I do. As out of nowhere, the Grand Priest had then continued in attempting to strike Merno, with Merno being shown barely having to move out of the way. As the Grand Priest is now focused on putting an end to Merno, he now went on to address his son by telling him, your efforts of destroying me are failing. Surrender now, Merno. Do not force my hand into destroying you. But as quickly as it happened, Merno was then shown having to put his hands together and further having to respond to his father by telling him, oh, I'll show you, failure, you scum. I'm sure you must have been watching when Universe 12 fell at my feet, which means what you are about to experience will be the same thing Martinu experienced before she died. Let's see if you are really able to hold up to your title, Grand Priest. Still think this is easy, Merno asks. This is for ripping me away from my universe, for stabbing me in the back in favor of delinquents. As the Grand Priest quickly went on to turn around by responding, what are you doing? That's way too much energy. Don't try it, Merno. But Merno went on to fire the attack anyway, as Merno then went on to shout, die, you liar! With the attack itself then being shown having to make its way towards the Grand Priest, It was only then upon firing this attack where the Grand Priest then went on to remember Martinu, as the Grand Priest went on to say to himself, I remembered hearing her final cries for help echo through the vastness of space. Your own sister, Merno.
Own sister,
you
bruh.
snuffed her life away without cause or reason, all because you wanted to draw me out to face you. My precious angels, the Grand Priest says, I will not let any of your deaths go in vain. And with the Grand Priest then being shown
lock in
to
then,
make his
nigga.
way towards Merno's attack, he then went on to shout, it is my sworn duty to protect all life no matter the circumstances or cause. But even then, Merno continues to fire upon the Grand Priest anyway, as Merno went on to shout, I don't care what happens to this universe. Once the throne becomes mine, I will create a new reality, new angels.
He just flew through right. He just threw right, oh my god, right through that shit, bro.
New gods of destruction, a new multiverse where I am its one and only true king. A king without equal. I don't care what happens to you, Merno shouts. I don't care what happens to any of you. Let it all be destroyed. But then, during his act of wanting to destroy the Grand Priest along with the entire universe, Merno had then gone on in sensing something very unusual, as this spark went on to catch Merno's attention, as Merno went on to ask, what was that just now? But that's not possible. I can feel his energy getting closer. But through my own attack? As indeed this just so happened to have been the case, because through Merno's divine final flash, we then see the very scope of how powerful the Grand Priest truly is, as the Grand Priest was shown having to literally go through Merno's attack and re-emerging on the other side by telling him, how dare you carry on with such blasphemous actions?
He just flew through that shit like it wasn't nothing, bro.
You are beyond reason. You are consumed by hatred and revenge. Don't you ever speak ill of the dead in my presence again, child. These so-called worms were your siblings, your brothers and sisters, Merno. This one is for them.
Except that one nigga with the big ass nose, he might be adopted. But anyway.
All of them, the Grand Priest says. And as the Grand Priest was then shown having to strike Merno in the face with such tremendous amounts of force that Merno's body was not only sent hurtling through the voids of space, but the sheer speed force in which Merno's body was traveling in was literally beginning to shatter all of reality and space-time itself once again. But before traveling into a different dimension, Merno went on to brace himself in maintaining his balance by responding, you persistent fool. So I see you haven't let yourself go like the others did after all. The one true constant, huh? And here I thought that was honestly going to do the trick. I guess I was mistaken, Merno adds. Perhaps I'll have to use even more power if I want to see this through. Look at me, Merno says. It's been a very long time since I was able to feel this kind of pain. But I can't help but ask now, I've noticed you caught on, didn't you? My elusive energy siphoning technique isn't working on you. So you've blocked yourself off from having your power taken, huh? Very smart indeed, Merno says. Tell me something else. You're not pulling your punches against me, are you? I wonder what's going through that head of yours. As the Grand Priest
He's trying to save your life, bro. He's trying to spare you.
In your early days of when I trained you that energy siphoning was forbidden. And what's even more is especially for lustful purposes. You should already know that this technique will not work on me as it did with the others, the Grand Priest adds. Yet another one of your plans foiled. Everything that you are was molded by me, the Grand Priest says. I tried to overlook your desire for power until it was made painfully clear that unless you were to be dealt with, then you would have been a much bigger problem to deal with, as it was only then where out of nowhere, Merno had gone in attempting to strike the Grand Priest by opening up a portal and telling him, I'm much more than just a problem that you're going to have to deal with, traitor. But once again, the Grand Priest had made easy work by ducking, dodging, avoiding, and even stopping Merno's attacks with his own hand, as it was only then from out of nowhere, Merno was then shown opening up two portals beneath the Grand Priest, and then being shown having to grab on and latching onto the Grand Priest's legs, as Merno went on to tell him, careful now, for someone as strong as you, it would be a real shame if you were to be outsmarted, wouldn't it? To where as soon as another portal was then shown opening up, and Merno having to latch onto the Grand Priest by choking him, Merno had then saw this as being the ultimate opportunity, as Merno went on to continue, there's plenty of more where that came from. We can't keep our audience waiting, Minister. What do you say we bring the fight back to them so they can watch you get torn apart right before their pathetic little eyes? If you haven't felt anything before, then you are surely about to feel this one. To where as soon as Merno had saw this opportunity in connecting a thunderous strike to the Grand Priest's face, that not only had gone in creating a shockwave so intense that it was felt all throughout the entire multiverse, but as the Grand Priest's body was then shown having to hurtle through space, the angels Margarita, Vados, and Whis went on to comment, Vados, Whis, are you seeing this? The shockwave of Merno's attacks alone are destroying hundreds of planets throughout the universe, Whis says. Are you sensing that trajectory, Vados asks? It feels as though the Grand Priest's energy is getting closer and closer, as it was within that moment where we literally see how hundreds of different stars were then shown being destroyed by the sheer shockwave of Merno's strike. With Merno shown casually smirking, Whis went on to continue, they may be making their way back here as we speak. We must brace ourselves for anything that may happen, as even the Omni Kings went on to feel the shockwave of this attack, as they were then shown literally shaking in their seats, as the Omni Kings went on to comment, oh wow, everything is shaking. It feels like they're shaking the entire multiverse as they fight. I've never seen a fight like this before, says the second Omni King. I can't even see them, but I can feel them from all the way over here. It's hard enough being able to keep up with their movements, Jiren says, but I've never felt anything like this before. Wait. What's that? Jiren asks, as even Beerus went on to respond, I feel too. Something's coming. It doesn't feel like an attack, so that means one of them is heading here, as even Vegito went on to acknowledge this by responding, steady? This is nuts. There won't be a multiverse if they keep this up. I can't believe that Merno is actually able to fight back, or is he being allowed to, he questions. Is the Grand Priest trying to redeem him somehow? Either way, Vegito says, we can't fail, but this won't be enough. We need more power. Hit that nigga, bro. Whoa, what is that? Leaking? Vegito questions, as he then went on to look up and noticing how the Grand Priest's body was shown crashing through multiple different planets, as even Vegito himself could not believe this, as Vegito continues, wait, is that the Grand Priest? He coming in hot, y'all. Brace for impact. And as the Grand Priest was then shown having to enter orbit and then making his way down onto the planet, the other angels went on to quickly notice this, as Whis went on to respond, right there, it's the Grand Minister. We've got to stop him from crashing into us, Vados says. Now, angels, let's help him. To where as soon as Margarita, Whis, and Vados are then shown having to make their way upwards, in doing the best they possibly can in assisting their father during the course of this battle, as all of the angels are still making their way in, Whis went on to shout, Grand Minister, we're here. Angels, leave us. Do not intervene. As the Grand Priest was shown breaking his fall, he then continues, you are to remain where you are and leave me to deal with Merno alone. As Vados chimes in, but we can't just stand by and watch him do this to you, as the Grand Priest was shown wiping his mouth and responding, worry not about what will happen with me, he says. I know better than anyone of what Merno is truly capable of, and I will not risk losing any more angels to him again. He's coming, the Grand Priest says. No matter what happens, you are to look after the others, especially the Omni Kings. I know what I'm doing, he adds, and I plan to keep the promise that I've given them by putting on a spectacle for them. It pains me to have to do this, but until I call for it, you are to refrain from joining this battle, as it was only then where out of nowhere he gonna hit everybody else. That nigga a hoe. Appearing once again and attacking the other angels by telling them, have to do that. What's this? A family reunion? This dinner table is seated for two. Now stand aside and watch as your beloved father is torn apart. You have to do all that, bro. Hey, bro, don't hit my baby girls like that and my nigga like that, bro. Only do that, big dog. All at the same time, but this in fact did not go unnoticed by the mortals, as Jiren went on to catch Margarita by telling her, I got you. Stay with me, as Kefla did the same with Vados by telling her, whoa, there we go, gotcha. That was a close one, as Beerus was also shown catching Whis by telling him, you're not going down that easily, Whis. Hey, can you hear me? Stay with us, as Whis responds, I hear you, Lord Beerus. Thank you. Listen to me. Although the Grand Minister is in full control of this battle, there is no telling what Merno might do or how far he's willing to go if backed into a corner. No, dead ass. To find the Merno of old has failed, Whis adds. He is long gone, and I'm sure the Grand Minister sees this as well, with Beerus responding, so Then what do you think we should do? We've been given the order to stay back as they fight. So what are we to do from here if we can't jump in to aid the Grand Priest? Up there, Whis says, the Saiyan Spirit Bomb, he adds.
Yeah.
Although they have maxed out the universe's energy to grow the bomb larger, we must find a way to give them even more energy to ensure the Spirit Bomb's powers. Beerus responds, so, you're saying that even after giving our own power, it still won't be enough? So how are we to know this will work, Beerus asks. I'm guessing the mortals are waiting for the perfect time to pick their spots in order to launch it, but how could we fuel the bomb if we've already maxed out Universe 7's energy? Unless, Beerus says, as we only then go back to the Grand Priest and Murno.
But how you gonna collect the shit from other universes, though? I guess portals?
Was shown catching on to Murno's punch
I guess Margarita in there and just go do that shit.
If you see this mission of yours through, he asks. If you were to somehow destroy me along with the Omni Kings, then what exactly do you expect will happen? As from that point, Murno was also shown having to latch on by catching the Grand Priest's punch. He then went on to respond by telling him, a new beginning, that's what. One without meaning laws upheld by brainless little children.
Yeah, before creation comes destruction.
Look how weak those angels have gotten since the glory days of when I was around to help them. They've grown comfortable during these ages of peace, as with the Grand Priest and Murno shown locking in a test of strength, with Murno appearing overly confident as the Grand Priest kept his composure. Murno then went on to continue, but once this day is through, none of you will ever know peace. The errors of the gods that have gone overlooked for eons will be corrected. The laws held in place which are meant to bond us will be broken. The weak shall die and only I will remain. The only existing life form in creation until it's restarted. In my image, in my name, Murno adds.
Okay.
I thought you were better than this. Have you grown soft for me, Murno asks? Are your emotions preventing you from killing me? That's if you even can, is that it? This is why you are unworthy to lead, Murno says. You lead with emotion and rules. I will lead through might and instinct. You appear more relaxed than I imagined you'd be. Why is that, Murno asks, as the Grand Priest went on to tell him, after all this time, I expected more from you considering you are my strongest angel and next in line to take my place as the Grand Minister of the Multiverse. But now look at you, the Grand Priest says. You are but a shell of who you once were. What makes you think you are above judgment? What makes you assume that you are above our angelic law, he asks. It was why you had fallen then, and it will be what results in your great fall now, child. You wanted complete control over things that you did not yet understand. So what did you do? You destroyed yourself in the process in order to reach for something that was never destined to be yours. Which only then, shockingly enough, as Murno was overhearing this, while still locked in a test of strength with the Grand Priest, Murno then took it upon himself to both literally and
this nigga gave this nigga the hakta. He gave this nigga the hakta. What? That's just, man, beat that nigga ass. Beat your son ass, bro. You already, I saw the shit. You mad as, beat that nigga ass, bro.
Spit in the face
combo that man right now. Combo him right now.
Looked irate by this because not only was this one of the ultimate forms of blasphemy within the angelic
disrespect,
race, but despite all of the common sense that the Grand Priest was desperately trying to embed within Murno,
I'm trying to talk reason to your stupid ass. You know what?
To spit in his father's
okay, reason.
Face, which by no means did not go
ignorance. Activate.
As the Grand Priest quickly went on to let go, and uppercutting Murno in the stomach, he then went on to tell him, Murno, you will pay dearly for what you just did. How dare you, the Grand Priest says. You have some nerve.
Hot two on your ass, bro.
Murno over and then being shown having to throw him directly down onto the ground with such tremendous amounts of force and velocity that even the other angels went on to acknowledge this by responding, did Murno just, he did,
yeah,
Margarita
yeah,
says.
he did.
He
has
lost his mind.
Yes,
no
he
one
did.
has ever disrespected the Grand
the
Priest
disrespect,
like that,
I know, baby
ever.
girl, I
and
know.
The Grand Priest was then shown having to stomp down on
He's
Murno's
oh
chest,
shit, yeah.
and
That's not what I say.
It was within those moments where the Grand
Come
Priest
on, that
went on to
nigga.
address Merno by telling him, you
Beat
have yet
his
to feel
ass,
my
bro.
wrath
Dog
for
walk him.
all of the horrors you've caused. And since you desperately wanted to experience my power, then let this be an example of it. As moments
Stomp
later
that
with the
nigga
two shown
out.
having to exit through the other side, both of the Omni Kings could not seem to contain their excitement as one of the Omni Kings went on to comment, I can't believe what I just saw. Did you see it too? Did you see it too?
You saw that?
I've never seen anyone spit in the Grand Priest's face. I did,
The
says the second Omni
disrespect.
King. This battle is everything the Grand Priest promised it would be and more. This is so intense. I'm shaking in my seat. Oh, holy crap, Kefla says. He just smashed right into him and out through the other side of the planet.
The
In
boss
case something
oof.
happens to this planet, Golden Majin Buu adds, we must prepare our barriers to aid us. As it was only then through the other side of the planet with Merno shown
dead
having
ass,
to hold
though.
onto his chest, he then went on to respond, you deceiver. So, you are hiding your true power from me after all. I felt that one, Merno says.
I bet you
That
did.
one actually hurt.
I bet it
What's
did.
wrong? Were my actions disrespectful? That was the exact feeling I had when you threw me out and left me to die, Snake. But I still stand before you. Are you starting to remember how durable my body is now, Merno asks. You yourself had even said that it was as though my body was indestructible. So this really shouldn't surprise you, especially if I am able to still go toe-to-toe with you without exerting myself that much. Face it, traitor, you are fighting an unwinnable battle, because one way or another, I will find a way to break you, and then I will kill you. As the Grand Priest
Nigga
responds,
bet.
I'm sensing doubt coming from your spirit. Is that because you are starting to worry about what's going to happen to you? You wish, Merno says. Tell me, should I be the one who is worried,
do
or
hands
should
up.
you be the one who should take heed? You know you can't destroy me, don't you? I've mastered the arts of soul separation and spirit splitting.
What
which
the
means
fuck?
unless you can truly overpower and destroy me, then I will always find a way to live on. I'm starting to wonder if fighting one of me is bothering you, then how about you try fighting dozens, Merno says. I have acquired many abilities and skills that one would consider
This is
to be
ridiculous.
unnatural and
Unnatural.
forbidden.
Yeah,
Of course,
say
this
it.
being one of many of them, he adds, as it was only then shown where dozens of portals were then beginning to open up, as through them, we then had bared witness how multiple original Mernos were then beginning to step
Bro,
on
what the
through.
fuck,
In an
bro?
act of trying to outnumber the
One
Grand
was
Priest,
enough.
Merno then went on to
We don't-
continue,
bro,
"So
one was
tell me,
enough,
should
bro."
we go on and attack you together, or should we break away and kill
This is
the other
ridiculous.
worms first? I assure you there will be no more resurrections after this is over, the Grand Priest says. Your fight is with me. The others are of no concern to you at the moment. I know what you are trying to do, the Grand Priest says. It is a skill that you learned from training with me. You will not be able to break through my defenses to find what you are looking for. As Merno
Oh,
then went on to
really?
smile
Oh,
and responding,
say less. I wanna see that.
"Smart. But do you really think I can't break through? Well, let's put that to the test then. What will it be, he asks. Will we attack the rats on the planet, or will we see it to kill you first?
This nigga, bro, look, the nigga in front of you, bro. Why you why are you worried about the gang, bro? The gang ain't worried about you, bro. We just watching this nigga here, bro. That's what I'm saying. You're not a real nigga, bro. I'm sorry, bro. You gotta do underhanded tactics to try to win, bro. You're not really built like that, big dog.
Let's see how good your eyes truly are, so pay attention, because here we go. As it was only then during that moment where the
God damn
Beyond
it.
Dragon Ball Super story of Merno versus the Multiverse manga chapter number
You're not really
32
built like that,
special
bro.
then comes to a close. Now the overall situation now seems to be much more intense than how it ever was before, because even though based on from what it looks like with the Grand Priest having to be in full control of this battle, Merno still refuses to back down in giving up and trying to do literally everything he possibly can in order to somehow in some kind of way.
Nah, I give him that. He's still standing on business. I give him that though. But he's still doing he still might do some underhanded tactics to win. Which my eyes, you still built bitch. You know what I'm saying? You never really built like that. You gotta do shady shit to win. That's what I'm saying. The nigga you want is in front of you. Fight him hand up, run the ones, and let's go. You get your ass beat like you just did. Hey, that's on you. You wanted to smoke. I tried to warn you. Yo, fucking delusional ass pipe dream type shit. Anyway, oh my god, finally this nigga getting his ass beat, bro. Finally, bro. Oh my god, bro. Son, yo, son, bro. I want to see you combo the hell out of this nigga, bro. See that bro, stump you just did? Do it again. But like 5 times in a row, stump that nigga out, bro. He just spit on your face, bro. He really spit on this nigga face, bro. On this man's face, bro. The disrespect, bro. I wish a nigga, imagine it's my actual son that to him in real life. You getting your ass beat, and you get put out the damn house. Like, what? I helped gave birth to you, nigga. I raised you. What? You gonna do this? Look, bro. I don't condone violence, but look, if somebody spit on your face, bro, it is what it is. Well, what happens after that? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, thank you for watching. You guys enjoyed this reaction. Hit the video up with a like, comment down below, and subscribe. Go to 3K, so you know, subscribe, hit the bell. Like on Patreon, Twitch, and the game channel. Click in the description down below. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to Alex. Get about to 2 million. You know what I'm saying? Again, these fan mangas got the boy in the chokehold. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna hold you, because look, this shit, Return of the Fallen Gods, art, you know, Ultra Vegeta is like, oh my god. I still got some other ones to watch, man. Still gotta watch Goku Black's Return, and there's still some other fan mangas I gotta go check out too. Some other channels too. So yeah, we locked in. Anyway, love y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.